Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video we're going to look at one of the newer fixed blades in the ESEE lineup. This here, the Sencillo. A very simple little knife, easy to put it on your belt, easy to carry it for EDC, those simple little camp tasks, and literally the name Sencillo. Sencillo translates to simple. So it's a Spanish word that translates in English to simple. That's exactly what this is. A no-frills knife that actually has a great fit and finish, awesome feel in the hands, excellent sheath system, fantastic steel, and that renowned ESEE name. And so what we're going to do, we're going to look at this in detail. We're going to go through all of this together. I'll show you this Sencillo as we bust it out of the package. And well, with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at ESEE Knives who did provide this for review. And I'd just like to remind all of you that I currently have a gear giveaway. I'm trying to give away all my gear, but there's only one way to do that, and that's to check the description box below. So if you're interested in winning yourself some pretty cool gear, do me a favor, take a look in the description box below for all of the details. And so here now, the Sencillo. There is one thing for sure, anytime there's a new ESEE model, it is very exciting. ESEE does not come out with a ton of models, but when they do, it is definitely an exciting day. So Sencillo is Spanish. This here is going to probably get Americanized to Sencillo, but in this particular case, the Sencillo. The model I have in my hands, magacut and burlap micarta. So very nice, just a real great combination. You can see the kydex sheath, which I think is a great upgrade over what we've seen in the past on things like the Azula. As we remove this from the sheath, very, very firm. So that's the first thing you can see. As I go to pop this out, it is a very firm fit. Has a nice wide belt clip. So here you can see kydex style belt clip. That is very wide. It's going to be an economical option, but that is going to fit, I believe, a 1 3/4 inch belt with ease. But getting back to this now, popping the knife out, boom, the Sencillo. So this here, a full flat grind. You can see it has that stone-washed finish. Beautifully done, very thin on the stock. That looks to be 1/8 of an inch there. The burlap micarta handles nicely contoured and rounded out. And this is going to absolutely melt in the hands wonderfully. You can see nice and comfortable over the top of the spine there. The spine softened out just enough, tumbled with that tumbling on not only the sides of the flats, but across the top as well. Made in the USA, again, magacut. This is number 1211, so 1211. So they're obviously pumping out the production line here. You can see first production run. On here, again, the Sencillo Randall's Adventure, like all the other branding that you typically get on ESEE knives. Now as we take a look, a 3-bolt pattern across the tang of the knife. Nice lanyard hole, very generous. And the fit on the scales, I would say, is pretty typical to ESEE. They're not fully sanded to the tang of the knife, but at the same time, nice tolerances typically from ESEE, very nicely done. A bit of a palm swell here. So as you take a look in the middle, bit of a palm swell, and just a nice overall size. Now, like most people will probably be comparing this to the Azula, I have added my own sort of wrap on the handle here, and you can see handle-wise, a little bit longer here on the Sencillo than on the actual Azula, but at the same time actually works out to about the same thickness overall. The Azula appears just a touch thicker, but I do not believe that is necessarily the case. Both of these going to a nice pronounced tip. However, I can say on the Sencillo, a little bit more refined. That's going to be a dainty tip there. Got to be a little bit careful with prying, but at the same time, I'll be interested to see how the magacut performs. And that is something very interesting coming from ESEE, of course. ESEE typically known for their renowned 1095 with that Rowan heat treat. In this particular case, interesting that they've gone with magacut now from time to time and on various models. ESEE has used different steels, and I like the fact that they're experimenting and they are expanding with the magacut. That does work out very well. But again, time will tell in terms of the overall performance. As we get a look at the sheath, very nicely done. Drainage hole on the end, standard spacing on your eyelets, and a whole bunch of eyelets at that. This should give a nice wide array of lashing opportunities, different various clips, and the ability to attach this on gear in a number of different ways. The actual retention, nice positive click. Not much in the way of rattle. It almost wants to rattle, but it almost doesn't. So it's kind of in a sweet spot there. Excellent retention. No worries this would potentially even come out of the sheath at all. So that works out very nicely. But when it comes down to it, the performance will prevail. So this was just a first look and impression of the Sencillo. A very neat knife, very nice offering. And I would say just an excellent offering to add to the ESEE lineup. Not really taking the place of the Azula, but definitely falling in line. In fact, the Azula also being a full flat grind, but smaller in terms of the blade size. Obviously, limited where it doesn't always necessarily have the handle scales, but at the same time, you can see it does definitely fit in a nice spot where it's a little bit larger, a little more robust, and actually has, in my opinion, a little bit of, I'd say, the flair that we originally got with the Becker and ESEE collaboration, the BK14. Now, as you take a look, you'll notice that there is no real guard. In fact, the guard is integrated into the blade. So you do need to be just a little bit careful there. That blade going all the way to the back edge. So you just need to mind yourself. I don't find as though I'm going to get potentially nipped in any sort of way, but that is just something to keep into consideration. And especially if you're going to use this with alternate grips, that's not going to be a problem. So that should work out pretty well. It ends up sort of neutral in the hands. You can roll it around, and I am by no means going to say this is a broomstick style handle. However, it has some of those wonderful qualities where you can kind of roll the knife around quickly for different sort of grips, and very nice in terms of indexing in many different positions, including stabbing tasks. Now again, you need to be a little bit careful, and you're going to bear up against some thin steel if you're going to do that, but thumb over the top should allow for some basic stabbing. Now, as we get a look at how the sheath mounts on the belt, again, that wide Kydex clip. Now, I have run this at this point quite a bit as an EDC, and I love how flat this sheath is up against your side. It rides a little bit high, but pretty good. Now, you can run this on both 1.5" and 1.75" webbing. Here you can see my 1.5" belt definitely has plenty of room to spare. That clip doing a nice job to hold it nicely into place. With the knife in the sheath here, very easy, right on the side, and extremely slim. That's what I'm saying. Look at how slim this is in profile. It doesn't print. It's actually very easy to carry. I have this right here on my hip, and I've had it with me quite often, and just very easy to get the knife, pop it out of the sheath, and go to work. So very nice. I like that quite a bit. It actually works out, I would say, in my opinion, better than I thought it would with that nice flat clip. So well done from ESEE. From the design perspective, I do have to say I do like this quite a bit. And now at this point, a few last details that I need to cover. Of course, this is an ESEE knife. This knife is designed by Jeff Randall. However, interestingly, this is actually manufactured by White River Knife and Tool. White River always doing an incredible job. You may be a little more familiar with their S35, but these days, a lot of companies moving towards magacut. White River moving into the magacut realm as well. So doing a great job with the Sencillo. Again, overall fit and finish, very good. It's what we've typically come to understand not only from ESEE, but from White River knives. I've had a bunch of White River knives in my hands. I've been able to use them in many different occasions. I have a bunch of their models. So I am fairly familiar, and now that I have the Sencillo in my hand, I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense. It sort of feels like an ESEE, but it sort of feels like a White River knife, which is pretty interesting. So a great collaboration between ESEE Knives, Jeff Randall, and White River Knives, pulling off the Sencillo wonderfully. But of course, all in all, it is a simple design. The question is, how will this perform over time? Well, there's only one way to figure that out, and that's for me to enjoy this. So today's video, more of a first look and first impressions video. I do anticipate having field use in the future, but that is certainly to come. And so at this point, this video has come to a wrap. And so again, thank you very much to the people at ESEE Knives who did provide this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on Outer Limitless, do me a favor and check me out on Outer Limitless 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.